Hi, everybody. Happy to have you here with me in the locker room this evening. I'm Alan Locher. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, we are spotlighting two talented actors who recently arrived in Genoa City and are already making waves on The Young and the Restless. Nathan Owens and Jermaine Rivers. Nathan, who you may recognize from Days of Our Lives, Devious Maids, or one of his many holiday films, is now playing Holden Novak, a mysterious businessman with deep connections in town. Jermaine, known for his roles on The Gifted, MacGyver, and Raising Kanan, is heating things up as Damian Kane, Nate Hastings' long-lost brother. We've got a lot to talk about, from their storylines to their careers and everything in between. So please, let's welcome Nathan Owens and Jermaine Rivers to the locker room. Gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us. Good to be here.
My pleasure. The fans are excited to see you. You both joined Y&R about a month apart. Take us back to your auditions. What do you remember about the auditions for the parts? Nathan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So at first, I actually auditioned for the character of Damian. But it really went well. I was actually in New York at the time, and we had to do it through Zoom. And it was actually kind of funny because I was fumbling. I couldn't really get my lighting set up. It was falling all over the place. But anywho, we had a good audition, but they ended up wanting to go a different direction. To my man right here, actually. And then they hit me up about 2 weeks later, and they asked me if I was interested in playing the right-hand man of the character I originally auditioned for. And I was like, sure, for sure, of course. So signed on right away and went from there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jermaine, did you audition for Damian? Is that who you?
I did. It was a last-minute request that came in on a Sunday back in October. And, I looked at it. I was like, oh, The Young and the Restless, this is new. I'm familiar with the show. I'm a huge fan. So I put myself on tape. They wanted it stat. I think it was due Tuesday, but the material was so good. The way the character was described and just the scenes that I had for the audition, I knocked it out that night, got it in. And the next day, the afternoon, I got a request to come in to do the chemistry test on election day of all days.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, I kind of packed the bag and came out to LA. Did the chemistry test with with Sean Dominic and also Crystal, and just had a good time, man. I left the room feeling great. I wasn't counting chickens. I went back to Atlanta, and a couple of days later, I got the call that they offered me the role. And the rest
that's what I was going to ask you, because you said you went out there. So Nathan, were you living in New York at the time, and you living in Atlanta, Jermaine?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta.
And I was in Northern California at the time, but I was doing some other work out in New York for the week. Yeah. So I was, I was
busy.
I was in the hotel room trying to work the wall, get the nice. Yeah, you know how it goes. Life on the road.
When did you learn you would be playing Holden?
Like I said, it was probably, honestly, it was, I got the call on the election. Actually that evening, and they were like, hey, and that's where they were like, hey, you know what? So that, the Damian role is going elsewhere, but they're very interested in you for the right-hand man of Damian. And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
That was a fun little switcheroo, wasn't it?
It was. And by that time I was in Carolina. And so by the time I got back, I was like, okay, cool. All right, we're back we're on daytime TV. So it was nice. That's
awesome. Jermaine, this is your first daytime role. What's it been like stepping into Damian's shoes?
It's been a smooth process. The workload with daytime TV is as expected. But
were you warned? Did you?
For me, the preparation for daytime is the preparation for theater, for the preparation for anything you film as an actor. You just sit with the material and you prepare as best you can. And stepping into a new character who hasn't been played by anyone else, it's mine to kind of create and set the tone. So, I approached it like any other role, but knowing that this is The Young and the Restless. All right, 52 years worth of years and passionate fans. Like any role, I wanted to do it justice. And then having a partner like, my Holden or Nate, we just came in and we hit the ground running. And it's just been a fast moving train. And I couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. Nathan, I heard you were a bit hesitant. You said in one of the interviews, just going back to daytime.
Yeah. So he is right though. The prep is the same, but I was I do remember specifically from my time at Days, I was a bit overwhelmed by how quick they shoot and how much dialogue it could be at certain times and how that could change. Probably you got to figure it out quickly. And also at the time, it was my first acting job. It was straight out. I was green. It was my first thing out the gate. Actually, I literally just started acting outside of commercials probably 2 months prior to that.
Straight to the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. So
that really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, you find out, they move along quickly, man. You better get with it or get lost.
Yeah.
So, so there was that. And it's just like, you just with that understanding, it's, there's the prep is, for me, it's a little different just because it's like it's not different. It's just that you got to be on. You got to be on.
Yeah, you really do. Ms. Michelle says Jermaine does a phenomenal act of portraying a young Nathan. Perfect balance of charm, handsome, arrogance, etc. He's a younger version of his father that he doesn't know.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it's incredible. Talk about growing up watching Young and the Restless with your mom. And I have to ask, what was it like making that phone call to say you got this job?
It was I need to pinch myself a few times to make sure it's real. But growing up, in a household where everything stops when Days of Our Lives come on and Young and the Restless comes on and As the World Turns, Guiding Light, All My Children, it's all of these shows that were pivotal during the 80s, but none more so than The Young and the Restless. And that's a show that my mom is a diehard fan. She doesn't miss an episode. So, which meant as a kid, I did miss an episode, right? But once, I went through the audition process and it's like, there are certain things you can't talk about, right? I told my mom just enough to be like, hey, just want to give you some inside scoop. I might be working on the show. I can't tell you what. And she's like, are you going to be playing the son? I was like, I didn't say that. Right? She was like, she's on it. It's like,
let me guess.
Like a Geiger counter. She was on it. And I didn't count chickens before they hatched, but once they offered me the role and I filmed my first episode, I was like, okay, now I can tell you, but don't tell nobody. This is classified. Please don't tell nobody. No, I don't want no spoilers. And we did a really good job keeping under wraps because everybody was sold on Nate being Holden.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I mean, I was hooked. I thought it was
being Damian.
Ben Damian. Yeah. And because him and Nate or Sean, they look like they could be brothers. So it was an easy thing to sell. Yeah. And my mom's like, are you sure? I was like, I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. So, man, look, it was a blessing. And this guy is phenomenal. He's a hard worker, man. He's super talented. I like to watch him work like I watch everybody work on the show. It's just a good place to be, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you.
I always say, I mean, if this is the profession you want to be in, being able to just sit there when you're not even working and just watch other people do what you love to do is like an acting school.
Absolutely. 1,000%. And also just seeing how everybody prepares and how they go into scenes, what they do before scenes, and that stuff is interesting to me. Like everyone's process that they well, at least what you get to see of the process is always interesting to me.
Yeah, studying yourself, the nerves is going to be there. If you don't have nerves, then you shouldn't even be there.
Right, you don't care.
You use it, you leaning into it. And I think I remember our first scene together at the Overlook. Mm-hmm. We're both kind of like we're breathing and we're trying to clear our throats because it's just a process of trying to relax.
Totally.
And walk the tightrope and the razor's edge. And this guy, man, it was like from the opening scene, the opening line on it. And it was just kind of like catching lightning in a bottle. I love this guy, man.
Yeah,
I love
likewise, man.
working with him. Great experience.
Was there someone, Jermaine, there? Maybe it was Nathan who you asked questions of, you know, being in daytime for the first time. Were there things you were inquisitive about when you first got to Genoa City?
I did a whole lot of prep before I got there, right? That's why they hired me. You know, not to be arrogant, but you don't want to hire the guy that's going to come in and ask a million questions. You want to hire the guy that can come in, understand the assignment, and take direction.
Yeah.
And take direction and pivot where you need to pivot. But outside of the chemistry test and just, you know, talking to Sean Dominic, who was very open and very gracious, you know, he gave me a couple little things and we played with it in the room during the chemistry test. Right. So I felt like, you know, you get this opportunity. It is on me to do the prep. So that way, when we show up to set, I'm not slowing down the process, asking a million questions because we're doing 30 pages a day or, you know, so however, I will say you can't work around a Peter Bergman or Eric Braeden and not ask him questions. And both of them have been amazing. But Peter Bergman, you know, I watch him and his delivery and he's like an oak tree. The guy's so solid. He'll plant himself like a tree and it just flows. And so I'll be like, you know, how do I came, I was like, so, you know, I'm getting something in my throat. I'm kind of like blocked here. How do you clear your instrument? I'm really trying to get the gym. And he's like, well, I'll tell you. And the guy, he's like, you got to lean into it. You lean into it. I'm like, I'm going to lean into it, Peter. Go out, do the scene. And he come back. He's like, yes. So everybody here is great, man. Yeah. You can't help but learn.
I mean, you're talking about, you know, two iconic actors who've, I mean, Peter has played two iconic characters.
Smiling Jack Abbott, you know.
And Clint Warner on All My Children, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
Clint. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm like a sponge. Hopefully I can answer your questions. Like don't really ask a lot of questions, but come in absorbing and watching. And with my little mental notebook, I'm like, okay, all right, this is how I can work society. This is how I can work the Overlook next time.
Right. That's another thing too. Yes. Yeah. Understanding like where you're at, the locations and the blocking of it, and how you navigate it and stuff like that too is also another part of it.
Did you watch any soaps yourself, Nathan?
I did every once in a while. I wasn't dedicated to any, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I did because my grandmother used to as well. So I would when I would stay home sick, I would watch whatever she was interested in watching for that day. So I got a peek to the world.
You had no choice.
I had no choice.
He had no choice.
Yeah, chicken noodle soup is whatever was on TV. Yeah, exactly. No, the remote was me.
You were
I gotta go up and press it.
For sure.
And you two first met working on Devious Maids, right?
Yeah. In the makeup trailer.
In the makeup trailer, randomly. Yeah, it's funny because you know, Jermaine 2015, yeah, Jermaine brought it up
10 years ago. Can't believe. I loved that show.
10 years.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you know what? I went to the makeup trailer one time and he was trying to figure out where to go, I guess, for the day or what it was. And I was like, I think I was the only one in there at the time, and I was getting my makeup done. I do remember that. Like once he brought it up,
Susie Lucci was in there too.
Yeah. Oh, she was in there. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I do remember you jumping in there. Yeah. So he was on the same show at that time. Yeah, and she's another icon of the
All My Children
daytime world as well.
Erica Kane.
Yeah.
That's right. But Genevieve, but I think her character on Devious Maids was Genevieve or something.
Yes. Yeah. I trained her. I was a personal trainer.
Showing all his abs. They waiting for that.
They waiting for it, you know. I know.
Baby oil.
I know.
What do you remember about working with Susan?
Oh man, she's an absolute professional and just very sweet and straightforward too. Like very straightforward. If something's not, you know, the way it should be, she'll tell you that. You know, she's great in a nice way, of course, in a very tactful. So.
And Jermaine, you worked with Grant Show, I think.
I did on Dynasty.
Who is an old soap guy as well from
Devious Maids and also Melrose Place. Well. Yeah, so
and Ryan's Hope, I believe, like back in the 80s. I think it was Ryan's Hope or Loving.
Yeah, it's almost serendipitous, you know, to be you know, all of these intersections where you work with these phenomenal actors and like islands, you know, ships in the sea, you know, passing in the sea, and then you meet each other again. So yeah, Grant was
cool, man.
Cooler than a fan, man. Love working with him.
It was cool.
Some iconic shows you've been a part of.
Yeah. Been around. A couple of reboots like MacGyver, the reboot of MacGyver. That was fun working with Lucas Till. Shirley Ralph played my mother. We the Cotons, Javicia Leslie.
I mean, Shirley is having a
phenomenal. Yes, yeah. Abbott Elementary, man. I couldn't be more proud
of her. She just got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. I couldn't be happier, man. Well deserved.
And you know what? It's funny. I didn't realize that, but Javicia was Batwoman when I was on Batwoman as well too. So that's crazy. That's crazy.
Shirley was.
What's that?
Who was on Batwoman?
Javicia Leslie was Batwoman when I was on 2 seasons there. Yeah.
Telling you,
crazy. It really is.
Don't burn no bridges because you never know who you get to work with again.
You really don't. You never know who you meet. Well, speaking of, didn't you work with Eric Braeden in 2017?
Yeah, on Den of Thieves, and I'll tell you, you know, his son Christian Gudegas was directing that. I came in the room to audition for one role. He found out I was pro-military. I killed my audition. He's like, "Hey, I got something else for you." And didn't even put together that his father was Eric Braeden until we were filming, and in between scenes, you know, we were just kind of sitting out, and he walks up and sits down, and I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, and you automatically want to ask the question, like, how did you know that Young and the Restless would be around for 40 plus years? And how did you know that you, sir, would be an icon as Victor Newman? You would raise the bar so high. And he was so gracious in his communications. And my takeaway, everything that he told me, I just kind of applied it. And I just like, I'm going to add that to my process. And now we're here, and I'll be shooting some scenes with him, you know, in the days to come. I'm quite sure.
Will you? Oh,
yeah. Maybe.
Know. Who knows?
Yeah, man, it's you know, 2017, Den of Thieves, Eric Braeden, he was amazing there, and it's amazing to be part of the cast, and that he's still.
I enjoy Eric a lot. I enjoy Eric personally a lot when I see him posting on social media. He is not afraid to use his voice.
That's what we ought to be doing, not existing and operating in a place of safety. When you get to a place where there's something that need to be said, have the courage to say those things. And he does a great job at it, right?
He really does. He speaks up for what he believes in, and I think that's all we can all hope to do ourselves. Yeah, 100%. But he does it you know, with color and sometimes a sense of humor.
A couple colorful adjectives here there.
Yeah. Some colorful words, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have to talk about the other incredible co-stars that you get to work with. And, you know, your mother, Valerie Pettiford, who you both, you know, is one of the first people you both worked with.
Yeah.
Talk about Valerie. Were you familiar with Valerie's work before?
I'll jump in real quick. I wasn't familiar with her work before, but I got the lucky opportunity to actually have a sit down with her in the makeup room for quite a while. We had some like time to really just kind of get to know each other for a bit there. And she was a dancer on one of the movies that I grew up on, The Wiz.
Yeah.
So she was telling me all these stories about that and like all of her, you know, her adventures. And I know. I was like, dang.
She was a Bob Fosse gal. Fosse gal.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she was just telling me her whole life story and you know where she was at, and I told her mine as well. And she just, once we got on stage together, she brought her everything, and she carries a great energy on and off screen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, energy is a great way to describe her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She is definitely a very energetic genuine human being.
100%.
You know, I love her to death. Like when I first met her, I came in and she was in hair and makeup, and I just walked up and introduced myself. She just gave me the biggest hug.
Yes,
you know, and it was just love right from the, and we did a quick transition into our mother-son dynamic on the spot. Like we established that relationship real quick, and she gives 135,000% in every scene, you know. So can't say too many. I can't say enough great things about Valerie, man. It's been a joy working with her.
Well, the fans, you know, definitely enjoy the three of you. So, you know, I hope the writers continue to explore.
Yes.
And Sean Dominic, what comes to mind when you think of Sean?
Go for it. Yeah.
That guy is solid, man. He's solid on screen and off screen. Has an infectious personality. You know, I catch him sometime, you know, goofing in between whatever. But the minute we get ready to shoot, he's on it. He's on it. I watch him. I learn from him. I thoroughly enjoy working with Nate. I mean, I'm sorry, with Sean. From day one, he was very giving, even in the chemistry test. He was just very giving. We made an instant connection. The guy's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd say he's like a very gracious scene partner. He was the first person I worked with actually when I got here. So yeah, it was my introduction into Young and the Restless, and I had nerves like a mug, and I was so nervous. But he kind of, you know, just in talking to him helped me kind of relax and, you know, find the ease.
What do you do with those nerves? How do you
settle them? I honestly use breathing techniques for me to a degree, but then I also kind of carry it in a little bit as well too, where I can within reason, hopefully, to kind of bring a little bit. Because sometimes those situations require that, like in the reality of it, you know. So, for instance, that first scene with him was Holden pretending to be Damian, and he's, you know, supposedly the half brother and whatnot. So there are going to be some nerves because this isn't something perhaps that Holden's used to be doing. So psychologically, that plays into a scene as well too. So there's going to be a little couple moments that might not be as smooth and debonair as, you know, you might think.
Smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Tia was asking, were you sometimes confused on if your characters were more good, villains, or shades of gray?
I played to what was on the page, and I created my own kind of backstory. And Nathan, he gave me a gem in the form of his backstory for us and what that looked like. So we really didn't get too much in the mud in terms of like, am I a good guy or am I a bad guy? Because I think as an actor, if you're the bad guy, even a villain, he wants to validate why he's a villain.
Right.
In his mind, he's the hero of his story.
Right.
And he has to find a way to validate that and own it, take ownership. I had to really take ownership of why I was upset with my mom. I had to go into a genuine space to where that made sense to me. And apparently it resonated because the fans like, I can't stand this guy. I'm like him. The way he talking to his mama, right? So you know, we see the comments, people. We see the comments. No, but true. The thing is, it's like, and that's the best compliment because you really have to kind of take ownership of what your assignment is, whether you're the hero or the villain. And if you're the villain, in your mind, you're the hero.
Yeah.
Just play it.
Yeah, I agree. I probably echo a lot of that as well too. And then sometimes, you know, sometimes villains smile too.
You know? They do. I've loved hearing actors who play, you know, sort of villainy roles. How you do have to justify to you, you're doing the right thing. You're not an evil guy. You know, you're just living your life. Veronica says, "Hey guys from Atlanta, keep up the good work. Proud of you."
Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate it.
Love it.
How has it been seeing comments on social media? Do you enjoy that?
I honestly, I try not to get too deep into it because it can get to you, but psychologically it can kind of mess with where you're at. but I do see little bits and bobs here, and I do like it though. It's good to see what the feedback is from the fans, of course. So and see how you're being perceived, and or what the relationships are that you're entering into, or what relationships they want you to enter into. I get that one a lot. Like they want to see me with certain people. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, people were. I saw a lot of comments about the scenes with Haley Aaron.
You're right. I did too. Too. So yeah, I mean, for that, I take it. I'm like, oh, interesting. So
yeah. Well, speaking of another young woman you work with, Zuleika. Talk about working opposite her.
She's great, man. She's really great. We got along well from the jump. She's a very interesting person. Very smart. She's a very, very smart person. So when you get to talking to her, she has like a plethora of knowledge that, like she's also willing to share it as well too. So she's a very smart actress, and also too she's very gracious as well too. She works with me as a scene partner really well. Like if I need to work on something, or if she needs to work on something, she's willing to go there with me and run a few things here and there. You're really good at that as well too.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want to like bother people, but I'm the kind of person that's like, is it cool if we just like run that?
Yeah. I think isn't that part of the process? Isn't that the fun of it too?
Yeah, it is. It is. And she's one of the people that is actually willing to go the depths. Like she'll help you out and work with you as an actor.
And Jermaine, Crystal, is that how you?
Crystal.
I mean, she's been on the show forever, so you must have been familiar with her.
Yeah, she's been around on the show, I think 22 years. 22 years of experience. And she's a force. She is a force, and she's so kind. She's funny, and the consummate professional. I enjoy working with her, and we'll prep, like in between getting ready to film. It's something that we both want to kind of run through. We'll do it. And nothing but great experiences working with her. That amount of time on the show is like, I look to her like, hey, if there's anything that you could give me that you think will help me fine tune some stuff, please, I'm open, because you've been doing it for a while, and I respect that. But it's just amazing the amount of love that's on the set. Whether the cast or crew, everybody is just pulling for each other, very complimentary, on and off set. So I can't say anything more than that.
It's very warm. It's very warm.
So is mom excited now that you're in Genoa City?
Yeah, she's very excited, and she doesn't pry. She doesn't really want to. She'll take it episode for episode. She'll be like, "Oh, I saw this and da da da." She'll be like, "I didn't see you today." I'm like, "Oh, I'm coming." I'll probably be on Friday or whatever. That just having that patience and watching the show, enjoying all facets of the show and all the characters, all of the cast of the show. So she's just. I think she's having a pinch me moment too. I guess
she has to be. She has to be. Who?
Our neighbor, childhood, friends and stuff. They're like, wow, you're on The Young and the Restless. I'm like, I know, man. Who would have thought? But take it, and you try to be a good steward of that gift, that blessing, that opportunity.
Well, you just run with it. Angie said she would love to see you with Sally Spectra.
Oh snap! Who, me?
Yeah, Holden.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney.
Courtney.
I was gonna say real quick. My dad, he called me today, and he tries to do these little prying questions about like what's gonna happen in the episodes, and like. So, anyways, what's up with that? Like, what do you think? I'm like, man, listen, I'm not going to tell you anything more. You're just going to have to watch. He's like, man, your cousins are coming up to me and asking about this, that, and the third. And I'm like,
oh, I love that. I love that it's your dad asking too.
Yeah, he's got all kind of questions for the characters.
That's really awesome. Take me back, Jermaine, and Nathan as well, but I know you started modeling first. Where did your love of acting and the arts come from?
Talking to Nathan or
both?
You can go.
Oh, I grew up in a household where, my mom loved the silver screen. So she'll have on, I fell in love with Meet Me in St. Louis. I fell in love with, It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow.
All of these old shows, Mickey Rooney, the classics, just Hollywood classics. That was what we kind of watched. And I didn't know it. I guess I was being conditioned for that. But my path was straight into the military after high school.
Which
Straight to the military,
thank you for your service.
It was an honor to serve. But even then, I guess I always probably had a penchant, a latent ability to be a character, because I was always joking around and mimicking. And if I hear something, I see something, I remember it. So over the years of service and all the situations I've been in, combat 5 times, 5 tours, Iraq, Afghanistan, you meet all of these people, all of these characters,
a lot of characters,
all of these situations. And so when I made the transition into acting, I was like, I'm going to take everything that I've experienced and I'm just going to put it in my bag and I'm going to lean into those moments. And of course, you got to do your due diligence and great acting coaches and self-discovery. But that was my gateway into acting, was my mom initially. And then just me kind of finding my way to it, and using my experiences through life to help me inform my characters. And then, of course, digging in and learning the craft of acting, through various techniques and coaching and the whole 9 yards. But it's just been an interesting journey and I'm grateful for it.
I love it. It's an eclectic journey too.
Seriously.
Yeah.
From one very far extreme.
Right. Just never know. You just, you just have to, lean into the opportunity. You take a leap of faith.
You have to be open. Yeah.
Yeah, be open for it. Yeah,
I love that. And Nathan, for you, I mean, I know modeling came first, but
that came first. That came first. But I've always loved films. Like I remember me and my buddies. Well, first off, I would just live in front of the TV. Whether it's, I grew up listening to a lot of albums, like obsessively, and watching a lot of movies obsessively.
Who were you listening to?
So my father and my 6 uncles have all been musicians their whole life. So they've been in a band for like over 50 years. Now they have their own little bands. Like my dad's still doing it actually. So we've always been exposed to all of that. So he primarily, and my mom loved music as well too. So she would they'd show us a lot of Motown, soul, funk, everything from that to Tracy Chapman or anything, Sting, anything that you couldn't think of, literally anything. And I would just sit in front of the record player playing stuff. And then if I wasn't there, I'd sit in front of the TV watching. One of my first favorite movies that I was obsessed with as a 5-year-old was Stand By Me. Wow. The storytelling in it, and also I always wanted to be a part of a coming of age film like that, with a bit of darker tones to it. But it was such a great movie and impacted me in such a great way. And then me and my buddies, we would always go to the film, to the theater as much as we possibly could. So I pretty much was like, I really was obsessed with it. And then I never had, at that time, didn't have the dream of being in acting at all. Like I didn't even think I had potential to be in something like that. I was just like, I went to college for kinesiology, and then I was just going to go that route. I just didn't even think it was a thing. But modeling opened up that door to show me that, there's a whole nother, the entertainment, fashion, whatever it is, it's out there for you. And it's a possibility if you put your, mind to it and have the discipline to follow that. So yeah, that led me into the modeling eventually, which was also another thing. I was like, how do you make a career out of that? My sister influenced me to do that. She was just like, you should try it. I was like, what? It's not what are you talking about? People don't make, anyways. So I did that. And then by chance, I ran into.
Well, I think you have a sister to thank.
I know. She still takes 10%.
I love that. That was her idea.
It was totally her idea. Yeah, I know. She's still that's my homegirl. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about some of your mentors who, whether Jermaine, it's somebody in the military or an acting teacher who's sort of had the greatest impact on who you both are today.
My dad, man.
I was gonna say
my dad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
He served, right?
Yeah, he served, and he basically led by example. And I guess the fundamental teaching and theme in the house is, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail again, fail better. Keep going. If something is presented to you as an option, that's good, where you can explore your talents. Don't let fear cripple you. Don't let a naysayer discourage you. It's there for a reason, and you have to be the one to decide whether or not it's going to be something for you or not. But leave no stone unturned, especially if it's something good and it can have a positive impact on someone. And I think in the medium of film, television, even modeling, it can inspire, someone to change the circumstances. So my father was a huge proponent of just that positive thinking and saying, hey, yeah, why not? Why can't I? And let me give it my honest attempt. And who knows what'll happen. So that is
I love the fail better.
Fail better. Beckett.
Yeah.
You
don't hear that often, but fail better is a great.
Keep going no matter what. And don't let anybody try to write the next page. You got the pen, you write it, pray, but put forth work and effort and intentionality behind what you're doing.
And Nathan, for you?
I'd say it's a few major mentors in my life, and I would say between my sister, my mom, my dad, and stepdad that I had for a few years of my life are the biggest mentors in different reasons as well too. And sometimes it's mentoring from a place of positive interactions. Sometimes mentoring by knowing what not to do for situations. And yeah, so I'd say on different degrees, they all have shown me their version of excellence in their own ways, and and allowed me to kind of take that seed and run with it for different reasons. Like, for instance, my sister is she's very headstrong, disciplined, take no nonsense kind of a sister, like older sister, obviously. And she and my mom is very much a passionate, individual with a lot of grit. And my dad's very creative and a musician, and my stepdad kind of helped me hone how to navigate the adult world, especially as a person of color as well too. So, and he was kind of helped me navigate a lot of reality, which was.
I was going to ask, growing up as Black men, is there a piece of, because I love hearing, what a dad or a mom taught you or feared most for you, how to go out in the world and live as authentically as you can. Is there a piece of advice that you've always taken to heart from your families?
Yeah,
man, look,
there's a lot. There's a few.
Yeah, not to make it too heavy, man, but the harsh reality of it is we're living in times where a lot of things that my mother, my father, my grandparents cautioned us early on, there's just a code of conduct in how you conduct yourself. There's a template that you have to adhere to. Number one, my father would always say, no matter what, be kind. Be kind. Don't always let someone dictate your emotions.
Yeah.
Don't always play to, because sometimes when you meet people, you're meeting them based off of what happened before you met them. So if they were having a bad day before you met them, they're going to kind of project that on you. So you can either push back away from it and not escalate it, or you can buy into it, and then the worst case scenario happens. So as a Black man, I bear that in mind, because I could be at the right place at the wrong time and get locked up over nothing. We see it all the time. We've seen it all the time. But the thing is the lesson, the profound lesson for me was, it's just to be conscious of your behavior and don't let someone else dictate. And always try to operate from your highest self, and everything else will kind of take care of itself. If you are operating at the highest level of yourself, trying to do good and just being kind and not escalating stuff, then I think you will have less problems, because energy doesn't lie. You know, you got the energy shift is always present.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I echo a lot of the same things as well too. That was a lot of that was taught to me as well in order to kind of just navigate life. I'd say the energy and the kindness thing is huge, but at the same time too, I think, and this is where if we're getting very deep about it, I think I overcorrected in certain times in my life where it was too kind. You know, just to keep a situation. Yeah. I'd say that there was moments
from escalating.
Or maybe not escalating, but just like I probably could have stood up for myself in a different way. That I think I probably, you know, if I was looking back, I would have done something differently.
I mean, if kindness was a mantra, we'd be in a lot better place in this world.
True. This is true.
You see it online. You know, like I don't read all the comments because, you know, let's just face it. You know, social media, it has its pros and cons, but sometimes and you can tell somebody's just not having a good day, and they'll say something about a character, and they're in their feelings, and it's like, okay, do I respond to that, or do I just delete the comment and just move on with my life? You know, so that's the thing where it's like kind of choosing your battles, and not everything should elicit a response, because it's like, listen, if you feel that strongly about it, then thank you, because apparently I'm doing something right as an actor to elicit that kind of emotion and response.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something that you haven't healed from in your personal life, that button has been pushed inadvertently through the craft of acting. So if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, you know, you might need to work on it. So I bear that in mind. It's like, not everything should elicit some kind of response. Some things you just got to be like, yo, okay, and just move on with life.
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks for answering the question. I think great answers, really great answers.
Well,
Nathan, take us back to Days of Our Lives. What do you remember most from that? What was the experience like once the nerves settled?
Once the nerves settled, honestly, I don't know if they ever did. I would say, you know what? It was, honestly, I had a great group there. I came in with a couple people, Casey Diedrich and Kate Manzi, among, you know, Chandler Massey. These are all the people that I worked with when I was there. We were all in the kind of not to say, but we were in the same age group. And kind of came in that, you know, our storylines as well too. So watching them work and understanding how they prep was kind of that was like my acting class actually too, like working with them, kind of figuring out how they do it. I'm like, oh dang, okay, this is what we do. This is how we do it. That was a part of it, at least. And then also too, one of the things that really stood out to me was such a great sense of humor. Like a lot of the people there that I worked with, that I was blessed to work with, had such a great sense of humor, and also so creative in so many other ways. Like we would be playing guitar and singing, and doing all kind of different things creatively behind the scenes, and then we'd go and, you know, shoot our scenes as well too. And there's a lot of multi-talented individuals with a great sense of humor, and also just everyone was also pretty warm to me from my experience. It was nice.
That's, you can't ask for anything more, right?
Without a doubt. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I'm still friends with them, actually.
I love that. Jermaine, you've shared the screen with Pacino, Glover, Defoe, Dreyfuss.
That's crazy.
As you've described, you know, you're sitting on the set at Young and the Restless and you're watching people work. What did you pick up? Is there something you can pinpoint to Pacino or Defoe or something that from just being in their presence that has stuck with you?
Yeah, man. Just sitting there watching how they prepare for a scene. Defoe is my favorite. I worked with him on Spider-Man No Way Home, him and Alfred Molina. Defoe, he's like a master at almost everything you see him in. But he would just randomly just get into a stretching position and hold it and just be stretching and relaxing. And it's like, this is how he relaxes.
Mm-hmm.
He stretches. He'll break out into like a yoga pose. And I think there's like an iconic picture of him doing like a full kind of split and just like leaning into it. But everybody that's great that I've seen, that I've worked with, they had their thing. And with Pacino, this guy, this legend, he was just like, I saw colors of every major character that he played while prepping to do a scene for Hangman.
Wow.
And it was me, him, Brittany Snow.
Yeah. I worked with Brittany. I love Brittany.
Yeah. And we're doing this intense scene, and you know, he's just, you know, it doesn't stop. You can see the wheels turning in the different ways that he wants to play the scene, and every take is a little different. You know, he'll break out of like a hooah, like from classic film, you know, and you'll see, you know, a Corleone pop up. Yeah. So yeah, and this was, I think, 2016. That was a very busy year. I was on quite a few things. But just sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'm here to watch and learn. Right. In this moment, I'm here to try to take something and walk away with it and add it to my bag. So yeah, I hopefully that answers your question.
So now he stretches on set with us.
he's doing a split.
I will probably clear my throat because I want to be clean, and you know, we'll sing on set.
Yeah.
It's the pipes, man.
Thank you,
oh, well, that was my next question. So when I was reading and doing my research, I then went and saw the amazing piece from 911 Lone Star on your Instagram. Yeah. And if the viewers watching this right now have not seen that clip of you singing that Ray Charles song, you have a beautiful voice, my man. I hope you do a lot more.
Karaoke. So
a karaoke episode. There you go. Karaoke.
Yeah. Man,
what was it like singing a Ray Charles song on television? And
a rendition of it. Yeah, I try to make it my own rendition. So obviously Ray Charles is Ray Charles, so he's gonna do what he's gonna do or what he did, and then I was just gonna try to make it mine to the best of my ability. But I worked with a really great producer actually that really helped me out, Tim Davis. He helped me out on that one just because, you know, that was really my first time. Like when we had to record the one for the episode is my first time being in like a booth like that and actually doing that. So it was interesting to hear from his perspective. He's produced with so many different people that it was just like, he actually said that too. It was a really nice compliment. He was like, you know what, man, like you have like you write, you know, like you want to do an EP or anything? I was like, well, think about it. So yeah, it was pretty cool combining the two things that I love into one. It was nice to
it's a beautiful rendition. Coming from a musical family, how early in your life did you know that you had pipes?
You know what, this is interesting. So I don't know what this means, but I would always sing everything. Like even when I would read when I was really little, I would sing whatever it is. Interestingly enough, like Jack and Jill or whatever, you know what I mean, whatever. As a kid, I would do that. I'm like, it's just, for me, it stuck for some reason when I would do something like that. Or I kind of got in a little bit of trouble throughout elementary school because I'd be in the back, like making up songs about whatever. And they're like, shut up. He's too social. Every report card, Nathan's a great kid, but he's too social.
He sings too much.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
Damn much.
Look at him now.
So yeah. So it was a pretty cool experience coming from the family, my musical family as well too. They loved to see that. They loved.
Oh, they must have been so proud. That's an incredible opportunity to do it on a show like that. Jermaine, going back to serving our country, you know, and not to get political in any way, but you know, it's a difficult time per se. You know, as somebody who served, what scares you or gives you hope? Maybe it's not scares you you know, because you've seen it where a lot of us never will.
What gives me hope is the fact that America is a very young country, you know, and how tall are you? Like 6'3"?
6'2".
6'2", 6'3". You remember the time where you were growing and your bones were aching, you were sore because you're growing pain. So I think America as a whole is going through some serious growing pains. But at the end of it, I have faith that we will learn something and come together and be better as a result of what's going through. Because I have ultimate confidence in our men and women who serve, my brothers and sisters who serve. Some of the brightest, best people on the planet serve, of all ethnicities, right? So let us not forget,
of every color of the spectrum.
There you go. And I had the honor and pleasure of standing next to these people from all different backgrounds. And you know, at any given time, any soldier knows this. Our combined forces make up less than 2% of the American population that will ever serve, right? But it's the best of us. And so with that being said, it gives me hope because these are the people that I grew up with. And these are people who are still kind of serving. So I'm optimistic that through our growth pains, things will get better. Because now there's going to be a shift, and not to be political, you know, people have to get uncomfortable and have uncomfortable conversations, so that way we can reach a consensus for the greater good, right? And then we can continue to go on and do better things.
It is. I love how you say it. It is the greater good. It is for the good of our country, of our fellow Americans, and all of that. What did you do in the military?
Oh man, what didn't I do? You know, when I entered in the service in the military, I was a mechanic. I turned wrenches, and that was like the skill set. I was like, hey, you know, I had a propensity for fixing things, and then from there, it's like, you know, I went into operations, and you know, as you proceed and go up the ranks, I got into like the senior NCO ranks. I went into operations. I was an operation NCO. You know, during the operations, you know, in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then I had the pleasure of being a drill sergeant for 3 years, basic combat training drill sergeant. So all of these experiences, you know, and growing in the military, you know, and some units that I've been in, some of the most iconic units, historical units in the military, really kind of shaped it, you know, and it enabled me to be successful, right? And in uniform and out of uniform. So yeah, well, if you could do 20 years, it's not a straight line. There's going to be some bobbing and weaving that's going to enhance you as a person.
I can't imagine all that you learn in something like that. And Nathan, I saw that you attended a big rally in California too. Was that fun?
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Is that hometown for you?
Not too far from there. Not there exactly, but not too far from there. Yeah, I went to high school not too far from there, but it was a fun rally to attend. I brought my nephew as well too, so that was his first one. It was my first official rally that I remember.
How old is your nephew?
He's 10 years old.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I had never canvassed, and I canvassed this past year with a girlfriend of mine and her two boys who were 11 and 13. And they did all the speaking to the door as we went door to door. I was blown away. They are smart young men who were speaking for what they believed in, you know, and for the country that won't be mine anymore. It's going to be for them and for your nephew.
Yeah, you know what? To Jermaine's point as well too, being hopeful in the future is there was one thing that stuck out to me, and it was that seeing a lot of young people engaged and willing to speak their mind on things that mean a lot to them as well too. So
Gen Z.
Yeah. And you're right.
Yeah, I remember after Parkland, the shooting at Parkland, feeling really hopeful from those young people because I thought they were so articulate. And I felt that same energy that you know by seeing the young people. Before we let you go, I know that a lot of the fans are curious. Who in Genoa City would you like to, you know, play with.
Play with.
Anybody you want to have more scenes with?
Let me think about this. Do you have an answer?
I'm looking forward to working with Peter. I'm looking forward to working with Eric. I'm looking forward to working with Josh, Michael, Michelle. I'm looking forward to working with everybody because everybody is phenomenal in their own right. I think like Michelle is hilarious in her comedic timing, right? And I think Sharon is amazing with her depth, you know, and her ability to play to deep emotions. So
what I mean, you just mentioned those two women. What those two women have done in the last.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, watching them is like a master class, and they really suck you in, right?
Yeah.
They were up for the challenge. They were up for the challenge.
And since we're talking Genoa City, I will also say, and it was so lovely to see Beth Maitland, Tracy.
Oh,
she broke my heart.
Yeah.
You know, because I watched back in the day, you know, when it was Danny and Tracy and all of those folks.
Yeah, I would probably say for me, my answer would probably be Eric, Braden, and Peter. Those two. Just cause obvious icons. Yeah. Two.
I can tell you my nerves would be up through the roof.
That's what I want to be. Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to see if I'm like, you know, you put your feet to the fire. Yeah. You know,
you really are.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. The fans are loving both of you. They're excited to see where it goes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting on the ride with us. You know?
And thank you, fans. All you fans out there. Appreciate you. As you as well, Alan. Thank you for having us.
Alan.
My pleasure. Go home and get some rest before work tomorrow.
We're about to pick up.
We got a
big day. You got to learn some lines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many of them. Yeah.
Thank you again. Be safe.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
You too. Thanks everybody for joining us. Of course, thank you to Nathan Owens and Jermaine Rivers for spending this hour. Don't forget to tune in to The Young and the Restless weekdays on CBS. Check your local listings. Best-selling author and my pal Alina Adams joins me next Thursday, May 1st at 7:30 p.m. to talk about her brand new historical novel, Go On Pretending. It is a powerful multi-generational saga spanning the golden age of 1950s television, the fall of the USSR, and the rise of the women's revolution in Syria. You all should know Alina. She wrote the best-selling soap-inspired novels, Oakdale Confidential and Jonathan's Story for Guiding Light. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do so down below. Turn on the notifications for reminders of all upcoming shows. And if you like to stream audio versions, just search The Locker Room on your favorite podcast app. Have a great weekend, everybody. And as always, please stay safe.